Arich Ata Ashera Anat Malacha Ha'alam Asher Kadishani Mitzvotav V'tzivani Lihi Tatif Latzitzit. Hold on 1 second. Good. Good morning, friends. How are you? Open folder. Hey, Will. How you doing? I can start with a little vocal warm-up. It's your mom's birthday. How old is your mom? Am I allowed to ask? Good morning, Ghost. How are you? A little bummed, but we'll get through. Mood. That is the mood. You know, recently I have frequently been encountering situations where I'm told that I'm allowed to ask questions, but that I may not get the answers that I want. And then it's up to me to figure out what I want to do with that, right? And what does it mean to ask someone a favor that you know they don't want to do and then they tell you no? What's the point of asking? Maybe there's still a point of asking? I truly do not know the answer. Like, this is something that I am thinking about quite seriously right now. Like, what does it mean to make difficult requests of people? What does it mean to be the kind of person that can make difficult requests of other people and do so joyfully? And accept the consequences joyfully, you know? Or maybe not joyfully, responsibly? Equanimously? To be able to ask a hard thing is hard. To be able to accept the answer that you don't want, also hard, right? So I guess what I'm wondering is, given a hard task and a difficult outcome, how do you relate to it? How should I relate to those situations? I don't need to know how old your mother is. Making the request knowing the other person won't accept? I don't understand the lesson. I don't know if there is a lesson. I don't know, Katie. Like, that's exactly what I'm wondering. Like, what is there a point in making a request knowing the other person cannot accept, right? Or cannot meet the request to your satisfaction, right? Is there a point in making that ask, right? Or then, a level underneath, right? psychological level underneath, is there a point in entertaining those desires, right? Or like, how do you continue to entertain those desires if you know what the outcome will be? Yeah, I have no lesson, Katie. I am not wise. I struggle along with all of you. It's a thing I wonder about. If I have an answer, I'll tell you. Anyhow. Today we're gonna say the Shema. And say the Vahafta. And repeat old words. Because that's something I do know how to do. Even if many other parts of my life confuse me terribly. Even cause me pain. I know how to say these words with you all. And I'm glad that I do. Shema Yisrael Asher Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. Will, you were not supposed to tell me. If there was a lesson in anything what I just said, it was not that you should tell me how old your mother is. I mean, you're fine. I was not in any way trying to put pressure on you to reveal information that you did not want to reveal. That was not my point. But, like, you know, it's fine to say how old someone is. Like, it's not a big deal. How old are you, Will? That's actually what I wonder. You're like, what, 22, 23? Tavo Tetukas. Why don't I post on TikTok anymore? Because I've been working on my dissertation. I've been working on my PhD thesis. And I finished it, and I'm defending that thesis on Monday, right? Like in 4 days, 5 days, something like that. Today's Thursday. Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4 days. So I will start posting on TikTok very fucking soon. I'm building up to it. I just have to finish up, like, my last final current responsibilities. There's a lot of home improvement projects that I've been putting off. In defense of the thesis, yes, and the thesis is science communication is good. Or maybe there are more ways to know things than you might expect. Yeah, so I will post on TikTok again very soon, Tavo, and I really look forward to it. I can't wait to start making films again. Yeah, I will make a few more dumpster films. I will. It will happen. Yeah, it will happen. Vahafta et anat Elohecha uv'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odeyecha v'chayocha hadvarim ha'el asher nochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha v'vitecha v'lechtecha chavaderech uv'shachbecha uv'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'chayu letotafot meninecha u'chtavtaham al mezuzot beitecha u'v'hisharecha v'chaya כי ויחיה אלוהיך אל הארץ אשר נצפה לבתיך לאברהם נשכח ליעקב לתת לך ערים גדולות וטובות אשר לא בנית ובתים מלאים כתיבה אשר למילאת ורות הצבים אשר הספק כרים וזיתים אשר נתת והלכת ושבת הישמר לך פן תשכח את יורשות אישך מארץ מצרים מבית עבדים. When Yahweh Eloheinu brings you into the land that he swore to your fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to assign to you, great and flourishing cities that you did not build, houses full of all good things that you did not fill, hewn cisterns that you did not hew, vineyards and olive groves that you did not plant, and you eat your fill, take heed that you do not forget Yahweh, who freed you from the land of Egypt, the house of bondage. I do not have students coming this summer, Katie, because in July... Look, my cat scratched me. She didn't like my singing. She didn't like the way I was touching her. In July... Take heed! Yeah, take heed. You live on stolen land. Don't forget it. Don't forget it for one day. You live on stolen land. I'm not teaching this summer because I'm getting facial feminization surgery at the end of June. Just really, really soon. And then I'm going to be recovering for all of July, so you won't see me for much of July. And so, it's a really big medical thing, so I don't have the ability to teach this summer, but I think it's worth it. Because, dysphoria sucks. I'd like to be rid of some of it. Neo-pagan individualistic practice. Right. Let me see if I can unpack what I think you're saying. Right? What it's like to live on stolen land but be descended from a stolen people. Say more. I'm not actually going to make an assumption on what I think you mean. Because what you said the second time was not what I thought you meant the first time. Right? Like, I have met a lot of white people who feel disconnected from their culture, right? Because, like, the American melting pot makes, like, American cheese, basically. You take all of these diverse kinds of cheese and you mix them all together and you get, like, yellow gook. There's a kind of blandness that I think many people in America respond to by trying to return to something pagan, right? But, of course, the word pagan is an other word, right? And they're cobbling together practices. Like, I'm one of these people, right? Like, here's my Ashura statue, right? Like, I try to be a little bit more thoughtful with my neo-paganism, but, like, you could classify me as a neo-pagan, and that, like, I'm not a monotheist. I don't know. Maybe I am in an ontological sense. I mean, I'm an atheist in an ontological sense. I don't care about your categories. Why am I talking to you about categories? How to get into a debate with Will. Insist on categorizing yourself. Yeah. We live in a globalized time. And we got to this time through centuries and centuries of colonialism. Yeah, pagan as a term is not very useful at all. I don't find it to be a useful term, right? Because the history of the term is Christians labeling people that weren't Christian as not them. Right? And, like, that's not actually how I want to categorize myself or really other people. Yeah, there are people who identify as pagan, and they're usually, like, white Western European descended folks. No, we're not at the end. We haven't read Gilgamesh yet. Good morning, Sarah. Yeah, we're talking about pagans. But what do you mean that you were talking to some neo-pagans and you found that their practice was individualistic? Like, what I thought you might have meant was that, like, they're not connected to a orthodox lineage, right? They're not connected to, like, a long history with set traditions. And so there's a lot more room for individuals saying, I'm doing this practice because it feels good for me. Yeah? Is that what you mean? I mean, maybe that's what I mean, right? And I come on here and I read to you Gilgamesh, right? And I say these Hebrew prayers, and I remind you about colonialism because it's in the Hebrew prayers. But of course, when that prayer was written in Deuteronomy, they weren't referring to, like, modern Western European colonialism. They were referring to Babylonian suzerainty. Yeah, no temples, no meeting places, no organized rites. So it must be very individualistic because all you have is a collection of individuals. There isn't the same kind of institutional backing, right? And I think there's something really beautiful about that, like, really quite wonderful, and also a little hollow, yeah? Pre-Christian European religion was very... Well, there were institutions that supported it before the church came. Yeah. Yeah, Yeah, I think that's a fair analogy, or like a fair association. Yeah, like pagans refer to like a certain kind of Western European spiritual sensibility that was preserved beyond the wall, right? Like Hadrian built a wall and the pagans were on the other side of it. Like that's where the use of that term comes from, I think, right? And now people use it to refer to things like Inanna worship or Ashura worship. But that wasn't actually, like, Ashura and Inanna were long gone by the time the Christians came around. They still dance in a graveyard at night and stuff in Idaho. I want to dance in a graveyard in Idaho. That sounds great. Let's do that. Yeah, you've said that to me. I think that's so interesting, that the Celts were Christian before anyone else in the British Isles. Huh. Yeah, do call me. In any case, that's probably enough digression into the definition of paganism. We'll leave it at, it's a historically contingent term that people use in many ways today, some of which have more of a history behind them than others, and some of which are more thoughtful than others. The cells. I worship cells. I'm made of 10 trillion cells, and every single one of them is me, but not me. So, it's been a while since we read from Gilgamesh. It's not since last week, because the stream on Monday and Tuesday were too short. So, we're in the middle of the battle with Humbaba. Every cell of your body wills you. What do you think of your name, Will? Do you like that it is willful? Do you like those associations or not? Enkidu made ready to speak, saying to Gilgamesh, "Why, my friend, do you raise such unworthy objections? How you pool! You make me ill. Now, my friend, this has dragged on long enough. The time has come to pour the copper into the mold. Will you take another hour to blow the bellows? An hour more to let it cool? To launch the flood weapon? To wield the lash? Retreat not a foot. You must not turn back. Let your eyes see all. Let your blow strike home." Will isn't your real name? What? Oh gosh. Here I've been calling you Will all this time. The time has come to pour the copper into the mold. What does he mean by that? I think he means it's time to take definitive action. But he's also saying, like, don't be prepared. Like, are you going to blow the bellows and let it cool? Like, I think that's what you do when you actually want to mold copper. But he's like, no, just pour the thing. Just do it. Just, like, pour the molten metal all over the ground. You might get burned. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We have hero things to do. It's a very large shift in Enkidu's attitude from previously when he's like, don't do it. You're going to die. Yeah, once you do it, you can't go back. So, there's a gap in the text. You're gonna melt your face. Yeah. There's a gap in the text, and the translator tells us, in the combat with Humbaba, the Rift Valley of Lebanon is formed by their circling feet. So here's our description of the valley. Of the battle. It's actually rather short. He struck the ground, and to confront him at their heels, the earth split apart. As they circled, the ranges of Lebanon were sundered. The white clouds turned black. Death rained down like fog upon them. Shamash raised great winds against Humbaba, south wind, north wind, east wind, west wind, moaning wind, blasting wind, lashing wind, contrary wind, dust storm, demon wind, freezing wind, storm wind, whirlwind. The 13 winds blotted out Humbaba's face. He could not charge forward. He could not retreat. Then, Gilgamesh's weapons defeated Humbaba. Humbaba then begs for his life. Gilgamesh wavers, but Enkidu is adamant. Humbaba calls him a beast and a boar, appealing to Gilgamesh's superior sensibilities. Gilgamesh is willing to spare Humbaba, with no further mention of the alleged evil that Shamash hates, but Enkidu urges him to the deed. Send him to Oklahoma. You have to leave, Will. Okay. Well, I think Humbaba has like a death speech coming, so it's gonna be several more pages. Anyway, here are these masks of Humbaba. This is what Humbaba may have looked like. I'm gonna keep reading a little bit. Humbaba begged for life, saying to Gilgamesh, "You were once a child, Gilgamesh. You had a mother who bore you. You are the offspring of Ninsun the wild cow. You grew up to fulfill the oracle of Shamhash, lord of the mountain. Gilgamesh, scion of Uruk, is to be king. O Gilgamesh, a dead man cannot, a living being can, his master. O Gilgamesh, spare my life. Let me dwell here for you as your, say however many trees you require. For you I will guard the myrtle wood, trees, the pride of your palace." Humbaba says, "Don't kill me. Cut down the trees. You can have my trees. Just spare my life." And Enkidu then makes ready to speak, saying to Gilgamesh, "My friend, do not listen to what Humbaba says. Do not heed his entreaties." And then Humbaba speaks to Enkidu, saying, "Oh? You know the lore of my forest, the lore of, and you understand all I have to say. I might have lifted you up, dangled you from a twig at the entrance to my forest. I might have let crawling buzzard, screaming eagle, and vulture feed on your flesh. Now then, Enkidu, mercy is up to you. Tell Gilgamesh to spare my life." Enkidu made ready to speak, saying to Gilgamesh, "Is he going to spare him? I don't think so. My friend, Humbaba is guardian of the forest of cedars. Finish him off for the kill. Put him out of existence. Humbaba is guardian of the forest of cedars. Finish him off for the kill. Put him out of existence. Before Enlil, the foremost one, hears of this, the great gods will become angry with us. Enlil in Nippur, Shamhash and Larsa, establish your reputation for all time. Gilgamesh, who slew Humbaba." And with that, I think it is time to pause for the day. What is Gilgamesh going to do? Is he going to be merciful or not? We'll find out next time. Dr. Punk thinks that Gilgamesh should strike. No mercy. Kill the monster. But what did Humbaba ever do? Right? Humbaba was just like hanging out in the cedars. He's just a giant tree man. He's just, like Treebird the Ent. I hope that Humbaba does not get killed. But of course I know that he does. I don't understand your emojis, Sarah. I don't get it. Will you tell me? Have mercy. Yes, I mean, like, our modern sensibilities here in North America, 4,000 years later, we see the deforestation that occurred in Lebanon, and say, hey, you have to, like, endure 4,000 more years of history. Maybe keep the trees around. They might make your life better. That's some sick guitar solo, butt flakes. So, it's time for Arati. Arati, and then Kaddish. And then we will conclude. Hi. Mom is grumpy. Mom doesn't want me to touch her, but she's sitting right here, and she's so petable. And then she scratches me. Look at this. I'm bleeding. You can't tell. The camera can't pick it up. It's there. You have a teenager here mowing your lawn? Are they nice? I assume it's a boy. Your cat bit you. It's polite to bring the teenagers who are doing hard work for you some water and snacks. That's very good. You're very kind, Sarah. You're incredibly kind. Don't assume lawnmower's genders, but that's literally what I did, Dr. Punk, and guess what? I assumed correctly. I think it's funny, right? Like, how certain jobs are so strongly gendered when there's no reason why they should be. But just like boys touch motors and girls don't. So if there's a teenager doing motor work, it's probably a male-bodied person. And like, I don't think that's okay, but it is a fair assumption. Like, I wish it wasn't a fair assumption, but it is. You know, like, I live in rural New York, right? And, like, I drive around, and you can tell someone's gender by the car they're driving. And you don't have to look in the windows. Like, I see these, like, huge trucks rolling down the hill with mud all over them. I'm like, you are a dude. That is a man truck. Like, you know, and occasionally I'm wrong. Oldest of 4 sisters and a single mom and 4 aunts. That's you? Your family's all women. What was it like growing up in that kind of environment? You're useless with motors. Me too. I'm useless with motors. My father really wanted me to like learn how to fix cars, and I just never cared. But characteristic of a good trans woman, I'm great with computers. Stereotypes. Silly stereotypes. So, we're gonna say Arati. Arati and then Kaddish. Hey, thanks, Emily. I appreciate that. Do you wish you were better with motors, Dr. Punk? You watered the teenager. Good. Very responsible. Have a wonderful day, Katie. Yeah, we're just gonna wrap up. I like dressing in monochrome, Emily. I think it suits me. Yes, you have told me before. And my response was monochrome, right? Like, I could dress in all yellow or all green or all blue, and people would be giving me the same compliments. And I think it's just color coordination. Like, the eye likes saturation, brightness. Or my eyes like it. But I do tend towards pink often, because gender stereotypes, right? If I wear pink, I don't get misgendered as much. I was at Home Depot yesterday. It was so great. I was at Home Depot buying a countertop. I bought, like, this 8-foot countertop, and, like, it was a big piece of wood. It was, like, 50 pounds or something, and kind of ungangly, but I absolutely could carry it on my own. Like, I unloaded it from my car when I got home. But, like, I was in Home Depot in this public place, and I was wearing this, like, bright pink sweater, and independently at 3 different points in the store, like when I was loading it onto my cart, when I was in the checkout, and when I was in the parking lot, 3 different men came up to me and said, "Hey, can I help you with that?" And I was like, sure. Yeah, you want to move this big heavy thing? Fine, be my guest. And it's just, like, it was sweet. Like, I enjoyed it quite a lot. And it's just funny because, like, that would never have happened to me 5 years ago. And it's not like I'm any weaker. Yeah, it's just like, you see a woman in a hardware store, you assume she can't move the wood around. Like, I got some wood, I know how to move it around. Yeah, like, they were really sweet, so I didn't like, I chose not to be resentful of the inherent sexism of it, like, the assumption that I couldn't move the thing. Like, I don't like that men assume that I can't move things because I'm wearing a pink sweater, but, like, it's also nice to be offered help. Like, it was heavy. Yeah, they were all very nice about it. It was just a funny gendered moment. We play out these weird stereotypes, and sometimes they're really sweet. Yeah, he wants to feel helpful and kind. Sometimes being nice is just being nice, yeah. Angelica, I'm doing quite well. I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking. It has been a while. So, we're gonna conclude with Arati. The word Arati means flame in Sanskrit. I'm gonna build a countertop, Emily. I went to Home Depot, I bought a big piece of wood, and I'm gonna move it around. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of carpentry. As soon as I finish all this carpentry work, then I will start making films again. But I still have many shelves to build. Lots of home improvement things. Yeah, a nice counter. I'll send you a picture. This is like the fourth like thing I've built. I've been building a lot of shelves. Carpentry isn't a thesis. I know it's not a thesis. I've been writing a thesis for 6 months, and finally I'm like, oh, I'm gonna move some things with wood. Make videos of my construction. I considered that. I've thought about it. I might. We'll see. We'll see where I'm at. Like right now, I feel like I'm in a rush. Like, oh, I just gotta finish this. And so I don't want to like take the time to, because like if I'm filming my construction process, it will take me easily 3 times as long, and I'm not sure I want to be that methodical. But maybe the last thing I build, once I'm like in the zone, I will film a time lapse of it. We'll see. Yeah. So, Arati. A countertop isn't the kind of thing I want to dilly-dally about. Exactly, Sarah. Don't want to dilly-dally about, because like I've moved all of this wood into the house, right? Like my living room is full of wood and tools, and I'm making a mess, and I don't want to like I'm building in space that is being actively used every day, and so I want to be cognizant of that and impact the lives of the people that I live with as little as possible. That means having to build like efficiently. So. But I'll soon be done. And then I'll start making TikToks again. Overwhelming I mean, it is quite a task to film active processes as they're happening. Like, I've been doing it for a decade. Take heed! Fix the counter that buried the forest. Take heed, you do not forget Yahweh. Take heed, you don't forget Humbaba. Or the cedar trees. Dr. Punk, you're on today. That's great. Yeah, it can be overwhelming to try to film and do something complicated at the same time. And I have found that focus is good. Or like if I want to make a film about construction, it's really going to be a film. I don't necessarily want to have the construction be the also be really important, otherwise I'll be bifurcated. Arati. Hey, I'm bifurcated right now. I keep on trying to say Arati, and then I get distracted by all you lovely people. And all your lovely things to say. What didn't you realize, Sarah? Arati means flame in Sanskrit. Oh, it is May the 4th. It's Star Wars Day. So it is. I didn't realize either. Even when I read that. May the 4th be with you. Jaya Jayarati Vina Vinayaka Vina Vinayaka Shri Ganesha Jaya Jayarati Subramanya Subramanya Kartikeya Jaya Jayarati Venugopala Venugopala Venuola Papa Vidura Navanita Chora Jaya Jayarati Venkantaramana Venkantaramana Sankatarana Sitarama Radhe Shama Jaya Jayarati Gauri Manohara Gauri Manohara Bhavani Sankara Sambasara Shiva Uma Maheshwara Jaya Jayarati Raja Rajeshwari Raja Rajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Mahashakti Jaya Jayarati Anjaneya Anjaneya Hanumanta Jaya Jayarati Dattatreya Dattatreya Trimutri Avatara Jaya Jayarati Adityaya Adityaya Bhaskareya Jaya Jayarati Sanistaraya Sanistaraya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jayarati Sankarachaya Sankarachaya Advaita Guradi Jaya Jayarati Sadgurunata Sadgurunata Shivananda Jaya Jayarati Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Jaya Jayarati Agastya Munaye Agastya Munaye Shyama Priyaye Jaya Jayarati Ayapa Samine Ayapa Samine Dharma Shema Shastave, Jaya Jaya Arati, Jesus Gurave, Moses Gurave, Buddha Gurave, Jaya Jaya Arati, Muhammad Gurave, Guru Nanak Gurave, Samastya Gurubho Namaha, Jaya Jaya Arati, Venugopala. This is my religion fight. Natatra Suyobati Natandrakaratam Nema Vidyobati Kutoya Magni Tomiva Bantamandi Sarvam Tasya Basya Samidam Vivanti Om Gange Kayamane Kaiva Govari Saraswati Narmade Siddhikaveri Hiya Namastitam Namo Namaha. It is a religion dedicated to resist the violence of categories. Tvameva mata chapita tvameva, tvameva bandusha saka tvameva, tvameva vidya javinam tvameva, tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Kayena vacha manasandriyarva, buddhyatmanava prakriti sabhavat, karomyadyad sakalam parasmahi, narayana iti sarmarpayami. Sarvadhamam pravichaya mamekam sarvadam vicha, amsva sarva papayo mokshayami masucha. This language is Sanskrit. And you can translate that last part as whatever actions I perform with my body, speech, mind, senses, my nature, my intellect, or my emotions. All these I dedicate to you. Thank you so much for being here with me today. For resisting the categories of violence with me. Are you a boy or a girl? Yes. I mean, I don't say that, I said that a little bit tongue-in-cheek, right? Like, witty reposte, but, truly, right? Everything and nothing are intertwined, right? That would be the core of my ontology, right? If I have an ontology, it would be that the opposites can be unified, the serpent can consume its own tail, and not be destroyed. We need not divide the world into self and other, or positive and negative, light and dark. Yeah, and you can check out the Discord too. Check out the link in my bio. There's a link to the Discord server. You can hang out with us and chat. We can talk all about categories of religion and why I resent them. Having cereal and bananas for breakfast. I also had cereal and banana this morning. It was dried cereal and dried banana, but still pretty good. Smash that like button. We have cake. Can you give me a cake emoji, Dr. Punk? Smash that like button. Smash that like button always makes me think of, what is his name? Phil? He's a photography YouTuber. He always says that. What's up, guys? Smash that like button. Cake or death? Cake. Cake. I choose cake, Eddie. I choose cake. Take heed! I love this! Can we just talk in memes? Can we just talk in memes from now on? Take heed that you do not forget Yahweh, who freed you from the land of Egypt, the house of bondage. That's why I say Kaddish, right? I say Kaddish to take heed. Cake, obviously. It's an Eddie Izzard bit. About Darth Vader. Darth Vader and cake, or Darth Vader's at the cafeteria. I watched it when I was in high school. But Eddie Izzard is important, right? That's one of the first queer people, on TV that I saw. Is Philip DeFranco, is that his name? No, that's a celebrity. Yeah, I know your references. Yeah, thanks for the cloud bread. I appreciate that. Yeah, take heed. Take heed that you do not forget Yahweh, right? That line, built into that little section of Deuteronomy, right? That line in its immediate context. Oh, is he the photographer? Am I just confused? Now I have to look it up. Philip DeFranco. Oh, yeah. No. No. Does he say smash that like button? Maybe he does. I was thinking of someone else. Doesn't really matter, though. People have memes. Take heed. Yeah, so, like, in the immediate context of that prayer, like, take heed that you do not forget Yahweh because he freed you from bondage. But there's, right, like, it's also, I think about it when I say Kaddish, right? Take heed. Remember, there is suffering in the world. Remember, there is suffering in the world, and that suffering will drive you, right? Like, is it acceptable that there are people in Israel living in homes that they did not build, stolen from Arabs that now live in refugee camps, whose descendants live in refugee camps? Like, is that okay? I don't think it is. Like, I think it's deplorable, but it also is, right? Sorry, Batya. Yeah, Batya, I don't know, I'm sure that you have friends that live in stolen homes. There's no question about it. Right, and so, like, what do we do with that? Like, what do we do with the fact that we live in a world that is contingent on suffering, right? Take heed. Don't forget Yahweh. You do. You live in a stolen home? You have friends that live in Arab houses. Yeah. Right, so we say Kaddish every day to take heed, to remind ourselves that yes, suffering is here, pain is here, right? There's oppression in the world. We have friends who live in stolen houses. We eat from olive groves that we did not plant, and drink from cisterns that we did not fill. Yeah. You stole Mentos from a gas station and you did not take heed. Thank you, Emily. Yeah. Take heed that pain is a part of our existence, right? Like, that contingency, that one person's thriving is contingent on another person's suffering, and that is the world that we live in. We say Kaddish for that, right? And we acknowledge the pain that we are in, and the pain that the others are in, the pain that everyone is in, and how interconnected it all is. I stole things from gas stations when I was young, too. I remember very vividly my mother catching me, and I felt so embarrassed. But that didn't keep me from stealing things as I got older. I still steal things from time to time. Take heed. Yeah, my mom made me take the gum back and apologize too. It was very embarrassing. It was extremely embarrassing. And yet still sometimes when I'm on the interstate and I'm getting gas at those gas stations, I will go in and I will get coffee and I won't pay for it. Because I'm bad. Because I'm in a rush. So it goes. The guilt would eat you alive. Yeah. Take heed. I mean, I think most people have stolen things at some point in their life. Like, I think it's particularly when you live in capitalism. It's heist time. I mean, sure, right? But I think, like, we live in a world that's full of products and full of wealth, and that wealth is on display in these wild ways. So, like I think everybody, at least once in their life, has stolen something and then had feelings about it. What do we do with those feelings? Right? What do we do that we live in a world where theft exists? And the worst thefts, people do righteously, right? Stealing homes because they believe that they deserve to steal them. So we say Kaddish. Kaddish for all the thieves, and for all those who've had something stolen from them. And for all those who suffer. We say these words. Yeah, for all the waste in the dumpsters. And all other forms of suffering beside. For 3.8 billion years, life has been living and thriving and suffering. Thanks, Dr. Punk. I try every day. I need a good segue. Sometimes they're better than others. So we'll say Kaddish now. Words of death. Words of grief that we get to say together. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shema Rabbah. V'yama divrachiyute v'yamlich malchute b'chayechonav yamechonav chayedi kol Beit Israel b'galav v'zman kariv yimru. Amen. Yehi Shema Rabbah mevarach le'olam almei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yirman v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithalei v'yithalal Shema l'kudusha b'rechu le'la min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata demiran b'yama v'imru. Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yochol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mirmav huya aseh shalom aleinu v'yochol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mirmav huya aseh shalom aleinu v'yalechol Yisrael v'imru v'imru. Amen. Thanks. What a long stream today. I had fun. I really enjoy your all company. So much. Gosh, I'm so grateful for each of you. I do not know how to describe it. Oh, Suppy, I didn't realize that was you. Because your username is just a B. Hey, beautiful. It's fine. You're fine. You can come and go as you like. Yeah, what a nice crew. What a nice crew. So, I'm going to go install a countertop. Well, actually, I'm not going to install a countertop. I'm going to go clean. And I'm going to treat the countertop with shellac. And then I'll install it tomorrow. But I'm going to do carpentry. I love you too. Unapologetically. Like, it is love. Like, it's a weird kind of love. It's not a kind of love that I've ever experienced before. It's like love for like, I know you all individually. I know some of you better than others, but like the thing that lives in my mind is like it's like an online coagulate human, right? Like, it's all of you in aggregate, but also individually. I love all of you. Thanks. Yeah, have a great day. Group and community. Online community is such a different and new thing. Yeah. And I do not propose that I know how to do it right. I've been trying for my entire adult life to do it, but I wouldn't say I do it right. But I am still so grateful that I get to do it at all. Yeah. I'll call you your mom. I'll try to remember that your name is Taryn. But, yeah, I'll call you your mom, too. You're great, Emily. Yeah, so, if you haven't, check out the link in my bio. And, join the Discord server. That's our little online community that none of us know how to do right, but we're all doing it anyway. And I'll see you over there. And, I will also see you tomorrow to say these words again. Thank you.